Okay, so I'm here today. First of all, I will try to use also some of the examples that Chris provided because they are very relevant, not only for Google, but for social as well and for everything that I will talk. So, scroll, click, convert, the power of high-intent social traffic. Today, I will bring to you, to begin, maybe an affirmation that can be controversial, but it's true, and maybe in the end you can agree or at least understand my point of view. Social media and Google traffic are simple. And why do you ask this? Basically, to become simple, you need to build a system on your processes and master these three or dominate these three pillars. Master the ad platforms, know your audience, high converting portals, and scalability. And know your audience is very goes to the place that Chris was saying of relevance, local relevance, and we'll go into detail. So, master your ad platforms. Basically, we have three social media platforms in here and Google Ads, but specifically for the three social media, it's known nowadays that this is a very important part of our reality, our digital reality, and the people spend 2.5 hours on average nowadays on social media. This is a lot because there are countries without cell phone, without access to the internet. So if we go, this is the average worldwide. So if we do this for the countries that have internet and social media, this is a very high time-consuming platforms. It is expected that in 5 years, people will spend 3 hours. This represents, in the end of the year, just for us to have a better perspective, 1 month and a half. And if we live until 75 years old, this represents almost a decade. So this is just for you to have the idea that this is very important for us to adapt, or for you as content providers, the ones in the room, to adapt to this kind of platforms because it's a big opportunity. Okay, so just very quick, because I'm sure all of you know a bit about this, but so the scale giant, as we call it, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, it's better for you to target higher age of audience, like until between 30 and 40 or 50 years old, for example. So people with older age gap use it more. And then Instagram, if you want to use it to reach younger generations. Also, Facebook is better for more descriptive approaches with your campaigns. And Instagram is much better in terms of quick catch of the attention of the users for vid. So if you have a strong video editing or design team, Instagram will be better for you for sure. Talking about approaches for young generations and quick approaches, TikTok, we have some policy that you have 3 seconds to catch the user attention. Otherwise, the creativity is not good. We have a big team, or a very effective team, not that big, but for video editing. Also, AI helped us a lot on this, on the scalability, and this one is very important nowadays for MVAs as well. Google Ads, very quickly, it's a bit different from social media, but we wanted to add it in here because it's also very relevant. It's for snipers, as we call it, because you need, it's very big, it's a very big platform with display, with search, with demand gen, a lot of ways that you can target the users. So we need to you need to know what to do and how to do it in order to make it profitable, and yeah, that's it. Now, a distant brother from the other three platforms that we showed is Snapchat. Not the best to scale in volumes, but very good in terms of ARPU. Our clients tell us this very often, especially in the MENA region, so it's something in common between all of them. So it made, even though we don't have visibility on the ARPUs, I think it's probably it's true. Second pillar, very important, know your audience. As we all know from the whole marketing, the physical marketing. Now, in digital marketing, this also applies, of course. I want to give you an example also to go into the encounter that Chris said and to be easier for us to understand. So, imagine that you have a service in South Africa and you have a portal of sports, for example. How can you use the demographics to try to target it the best way possible? Sports portal, normally people that like sports are a bit younger, between 18 to 40 years old, for example. So you can do it by age and then also gender, even though I don't want to use prejudice, but the probability of a male liking sports, at least from my circle of reality, male people are much higher into much engaged into sports than female people. And yeah, okay. In terms of demographics, this would be it. In terms of interests, the quicker example, I played rugby for more than 10 years, and I know that this is a very important thing in South Africa. So maybe targeting in South Africa in terms of age and now in terms of interestings, using the sports portal, the approach of rugby can be interesting because it's a big sport in there, and also goes to the encounter of cultural context, using some of the insights that Chris gave. For example, in South Africa, rugby is not only a sport, but it was used as a way to gather the community because of the disputes there was back in the days, and some also nowadays, but well, I think it was bigger back then. So Nelson Mandela was involved in '95, the World Cup. They used the rugby team to gather the community, and yeah, they were champions, and it was very meaningful for them. So this can be very meaningful when we approach the users. Of course, careful when using banners, specific banners. You always have to have the content in the portal and the permission of the operators, of the regulators, of course. But this is just an idea, a creative idea that you can use to do it. This is maybe one of the most important slides that I think is relevant in my presentation, high converting portals. With the right portal, you're halfway there. So before, this is our perspective as an agency. Before, the idea of the market was that media buying agency was responsible for awareness, intent, and subscription, and the content provider only for retention in the portal. But on our eyes, and for the success cases that we have, that are so we have some historic to study and to take these conclusions, is that both media buying agency and content provider are involved in all the process. Why? Because the case that I gave, we know that this can be a creative approach that can be interesting, so we can use this to tell our client, okay, do you have a sports portal in South Africa? Yes. Do you have a rugby content? Yes. Can we use it? How can we use it? Do you have the copyrights of the players of the national team? Do you do the streaming of the championship of South Africa? So a lot of approaches that we can do in here, and also the opposite. So the content provider can tell us, okay, Pedro, we don't have a good ARPU in this specific source. And we see, okay, this specific source is an ID for Facebook. Okay, we can pause it and we will push the other sources. This feedback, constant feedback, is very important to grow the partnership, and in the long term, it's essential, of course, as you may also agree, I'm sure. Yeah, that's it. Then, scalability. These numbers that you see in here are the numbers before and after AI. Just for you to have an idea, we were able to almost do 4 times what we did in terms of banners, and almost 2.5 times, or more than 2.5 times the video. So this is very important. Why? Because for you to spread or to increase the probability of success, but also the approaches that you do in terms of diversity. This represented only 93% of increase in campaigns. Why? Because even though AI is very useful and we can scale a lot in terms of creatives, it's also sometimes can not be the best designs or can be a bit misleading. So we have to cut a lot of the creatives to be compliant and to make sure that we don't bring any kind of problem to our campaigns, to our sources, and of course, the more important, to our clients. So I want to rephrase what I said in the beginning. Social media and Google traffic are simple, but they are not easy because of this, all of this system that you had to build. But if you can create this system, this is just our numbers. We had more than 50 clients live, millions of clicks, and 5.2 million of conversions in the last 12 months. This is the spread by sources. So for you to have a perspective on the weight that each source represented. So Facebook or Meta Ads, a very important source between the social media, very good. Google, very relevant, as we all know, but the question for us here is more to focus, or for you to know the potential that there is in social media. TikTok, very important, but because of the creative renovation, it takes a bit more for us to optimize it, but again, with AI and for us to know the right prompts to use for certain campaigns, it's getting better. And Snapchat, again, not the best for a lot of volumes, but in terms of ARPU, our clients like it, so we use it as well. Finally, I wanted to give just a quick example and also an exercise if someone wants to participate. If not, I can do it myself. No worries. Bulgaria, just for you to have an idea by the experience that we had with all these examples and history that I gave, we can look right away at this and understand the potential. So for Bulgaria, we know one carrier, pin flow, API, generic content. Right away, by looking, we can understand, okay, one carrier, it's not good for Facebook or for Meta ads. Why? Because there is no carrier targeting, so we would be losing a lot of users for this. Pin flow, it's not good for TikTok, so we would cut TikTok out of the equation and use only Snapchat and Google. API, it's good for both. Generic content, we know this market has a lot of portals of generic content, so probably depending on the cap that the user has, that the client has, the content provider, we will do either our Snapchat or Google. In my opinion, we do both, and we see the quality of both, but always depends a bit on the caps and on the approach. For South Africa, I wanted to ask you, I did the rugby example. I would, if someone wants to participate, of course, if you have any idea on a good approach, a good source that you could use in here after everything I said. Anyone wants to give a shot? No? Okay, no worries. So, for South Africa, another example in trying to be locally relevant would be all carriers. We can use it in Facebook, Google, and in every source, by the way. Click flow, good for Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. Google doesn't like redirect, so maybe this would not be a good option. S2S, again, Google don't like redirect, so this would not be an option. Sports portal, trying to be relevant. So South Africa played rugby because they were a Britain colony before a few years ago. So we know that also cricket is also a very famous sport that was spread around the world because of the British colonies. So this would also be a good approach in here, and actually it is because we have some campaigns live with this approach, and this is a very good one. Some quick tips for everything I said. Meta, mobile first design, so it started as a laptop, a computer, social media, but it's transforming every day, and the usability is more on cell phones. So this is a very important approach to do in terms of design, or in terms of banners, in terms of every approach that you do. TikTok, as I said, you have to hook the user in 3 seconds, otherwise you should drop the creativity, at least according to our KPIs, because it's the probability of the user subscribing is very low. Snapchat, top quality ARPUs, as I said, especially in the MENA region with several clients that we had. In Google Ads, even though sometimes good flows look good, it doesn't mean that it will be a good campaign. I mean this for the click flows, especially, that Google rejects a lot of campaigns, as you may know, especially because of redirects, also other reasons, but this is one of the ones. This was a QR code for custom onboarding, but no worries about that. And yes, for any question that you have about this, social media, or anything I can help, you can reach our table. There is not much time, but that's it. Thank you.